What is up, heathens? Rev Avi checking in live. Magic quarantine talk. What is up, people? What is going on? I'm going to give you guys a chance to jump on here and then we'll get started talking about some stuff, talking about those hidden occult topics live. What's going on? Hey, what's going on, dude? Tag some people if you're friends with other members of the group, guys. Other members, if you're friends with them, tag them so we can get some people on this live, okay? It's always better to have people here to talk to so that I'm not talking to myself. Of course, I don't mind doing that. But yeah, it's always better to have, you guys there to give me some live feedback, see what's going on. What's up, Donovan? What's going on, guys? Yeah, awesome. Tag him, tag him, tag him, tag him. Awesome. Tag Steven. Somebody tag Steven. He's real good at tagging people. But yeah, so tonight I figured we would break down something that is sort of a general foundational symbol for all of the left hand path. And a lot of people miss it. They kind of just take it for granted or just assume that it's, a symbol for Lucifer and that's enough for them and they go right past it and they miss um, a huge part of this understanding. And so I'm going to go over that symbol tonight, that image, that idol tonight. Okay. So, what's up, Ace? And yeah, I see you guys showing up now. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. So, yeah, what the fuck is he talking about? What am I talking about? Which idol am I talking about that a lot of people skip right over? They know about it. Everybody has one. They know about it, but they miss its true value, its true meaning. What is he talking about? I'm talking about this. Here's a mini one because my big one got broken. I am going to talk about the Baphomet tonight. We're going to talk about the Baphomet. What do you guys know about the Baphomet, about this image, about this symbol? Okay. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about what it means, what the image actually means, a lot of the representations and stuff that are on here. I'm going to cover that tonight, at least somewhat about that. And I'm gonna get you guys some more understanding of this. Okay, why this symbol? Why this one? Where did it come from? Okay, we're gonna cover some of that tonight, just a little bit about it, and get you guys some more understanding. So the Baphomet, in case you guys don't know, is one of those things that was discovered by the Knights Templar, and it has become the image for the left-hand path. This has become the thing that represents Satan or Lucifer on the left-hand path. You see, mine has the inverted pentagram on the bottom and stuff. I think this is actually the Church of Satan version of it with the pentagram at the bottom. But anyway, this symbol actually encompasses a lot, and a lot of people don't know all the things that it represents, even though they have a statue or something like that at home. So let's cover some of this. The first things you might want to notice about this statue, and we'll start with this because I feel like this is the most important thing, is on the Baphomet's arms are two engravings or two tattoos or two skin markings. Okay, one says coagula, okay, which is on the left hand, and then one says solve, which is on the right hand. Okay. Now, on the image of Baphomet, like if you see this on paper or if you look it up on Google, the original image, you're going to see the right hand pointing up towards the sun, and then you're going to see the left hand pointing down towards the moon. Okay. Representing the, of course, masculine and feminine energies, and the Hermetic principles. This statue, this idol, this image actually represents all seven of the Hermetic principles. Okay, embodied. So it's a very unique thing. Okay, so he's pointing up to the sun, down towards the moon, representing the principle of polarity, which is one of the Hermetic principles. Okay, the masculine and feminine coming together. The wings represent divinity, the ability to transverse and go into and in between all the lower and higher realms of manifestation. So all the different planes of existence. The Baphomet represents man and his infinite knowledge, representing himself and understanding himself as being an animal. That's why the Baphomet is in the shape of the ram or goat, because that is a arrogant animal. Man being arrogant, always thinking that he is the highest of the food chain and the most important being in existence. That's how people are. Okay, so that's why we have the ram's head and the goat's feet and stuff like that. Outside of the, of course, right hand path and all that programming and stuff, here's the more esoteric meanings behind this stuff. Okay? You also notice that the Baphomet has the mother's nurturing breasts, where all life is given milk. Okay, the thing that we need to nourish us from the moment that we're born. And then you see the father's phallus rising up right there from the Baphomet's legs, representing the father's penis, of course, which gives the fluid of all life. The semen comes from the penis, right? Okay. And then you see this is actually the caduceus here with the serpents going up around the side there, the entwined serpents, representing the two energies, male and female, coming together and rising up the staff. Okay. The caduceus is also used to represent healing and medicine, and doctors use it also. A lot of people don't know that, but this represents the kundalini, the electrical, fiery life force energy that can rise up inside of a person to their head and ignite the pineal gland, creating the fire, the spiritual fire, the connection to the spirit world. So that is the Baphomet broken 100% down for those of you at home that don't understand this damn thing and what it actually represents. Now, the Church of Satan adopted it and use it as their symbol, and they claim to be atheistic and stuff like that, and that they don't believe in demons and whatnot. And this is just sort of a symbol that they adopted because it represents something that is not of the right hand path. But I just broke down for you the true magical and esoteric principles behind what the Baphomet represents. So hopefully you guys learned something there. And that's funny because the reason I did that, is because actually that's just the chapter that I ended up writing in my new book. Is I broke that down because a lot of people don't know it like that. So that's actually something that's inside of my new book that I'm going to be writing. Sort of a breakdown of Baphomet, all those esoteric principles, okay, and understanding of that statue and that image altogether, okay. So hopefully you guys learned something. I hope that was very informative for you. Asen says, let me look at some of the comments. I'm sorry, guys. Asen says, sitting on top of the world because he has mastered it. Yeah, man is very arrogant. So we assume that we are the highest on the food chain and stuff like that because of our intelligence. So that is absolutely why Baphomet is sitting on top of the world in that image. Stephen Clark, why you gotta tag me when he says father's penis? You know what? Jason, Baphomet is merely symbolic. Actually, let's go a little deeper into Baphomet. So you know that it's more than just being symbolic, okay? Baphomet is actually the symbol of the caduceus that appears in his lap there, and the fact that he has wings, and this all represents that caduceus image of a person actually goes back to ancient Egypt and Hermes. The caduceus is the staff that was carried by Hermes Trismegistus, okay, which was known as the universal manifestation, the manifestation of the universal mind to the Egyptians. So this was a person that they wrote about in ancient Egypt. They gave us the emerald tablets, and that the Kybalion is based on. So this image actually represents that. So it's not just symbolic. It teaches a very powerful lesson about those hermetic, real magical principles. So, and the funny thing is, a lot of people don't believe in magic. I get that. There's still some people out there that are atheists that don't believe in magic, that, don't understand how that is possible, and that's perfectly fine. The thing that you have to understand is that you should be attempting to be a scientist about it all. You should be at least studying the possibility of magic existing. Okay, you should at least consider the possibility of it existing. Even the smartest scientists that ever lived, we're talking Einstein, we're talking Tesla, we're talking geniuses. Okay, had the capability of saying out loud, hey, yeah, I have to include the possibility of all this stuff existing. Einstein, yeah, there's different dimensions, okay? Because mathematically, that's what makes sense. So you have to be open to that possibility. And then when you are and you test for it, you can absolutely find validation. And that's what honestly all my books are about. Samita Diorum covers ritual magic and how to understand that from a scientific perspective, for the people that may just have a ritual magic sort of introduction to this type of stuff. And then mesmerism goes from a straight up medical sort of scientific understanding of what trance is, okay, which is what you're doing with rituals. You're just trying to get into trance states. Mesmerism breaks down the process of understanding what trance is, as taught to me by hypnotists that are doctors and people with paper that says they're important. And then we go into this third book that I'm writing that's going to go into a lot more of the darker principles and understanding and break those down so that they're very realistic and something that people can apply into their lives. It's not going to be a lot of just believing in ideologies. I stay away from that 100%. I don't dive into ideologies. A lot of the stuff that I teach is purely from a psychological and scientific point of view. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Um, it's so funny when people got tagged, right? ASIN, what does that mean? I'm not sure what you're talking about, buddy. If you want to elaborate, I learned semen does in fact come from the penis. That is true. What does the words on his arm mean? I broke those down. I'll break them down again. So coagula and solve. Coagula, and I'll break this down for you again, Asun. Coagula or coagulate means just that it's when something you get a solid picture of something. That's when something comes together. It's a mass of something. So when you're coagulating something, it's like a math problem with a bunch of numbers, and you have to start to figure those numbers out, right? To solve is to get the answer. The only way to solve something is to dissect it. Okay. So the only way to solve something is to dissect it. To solve it is to coagulate it, and to coagulate it is to solve it. That's how you get the answer. So in order to understand something, you have to break it down first. That's what coagulate and solve means. If you want to really understand this from a magical and also realistic scientific perspective, think about it like this: if you want to understand what a tree is made of, okay, if you want to understand what a tree is made of, you have to first try and cut down a tree, okay, and cut open that tree to see what's in there. And then you can start to study it, start to understand what affects it, maybe try burning it and stuff like that to figure out what makes the tree tick. This is how we learned what how reality works. Okay, the seed comes from the tree. We have to put the seed in the ground. This is a process of coagulating and solving our reality. That's what makes us intelligent. Um, cool. So the Baphomet is a very, very powerful symbol. In case you guys didn't know that, it has to do with the totality of science and reality all together. Doctors use it. The caduceus is the symbol of the medical society all over the world. You have to understand that they know what this shit is. Okay, it's not by accident that they chose those things. It represents healing because it has to do with the chakras and the body and the spiritual body and what your body is actually made of, which is electromagnetic energy. The physical is just condensed energy. Hermetics teaches you about seeing reality in various different planes simultaneously. So it's very, very powerful, very, very interesting stuff, and it does come from Egypt. It's stuff that's written in stone, verbal traditions, and written traditions that they taught, at the highest levels. Yeah, true. Steven mentioned a fun fact. Tesla did in fact create a real life death beam. That dude was a mad scientist for real. He was like the Doctor Evil. I will blow up the moon. Like, don't fuck with me. He was a real life interesting guy. Okay. So yeah, I hope that breaks some stuff down, some interesting facts there. You got, when you start to really look at this stuff and it's not just something you believe in because it's dark and it's spooky and there's demons and skulls and stuff like that involved. It doesn't even have to go that route. I mean, some of the smartest left hand path people are wearing suits. You got to understand this. They're wearing suits. They don't have tattoos and they got a lot of money. You know, that's just a real facts about this stuff right here. It's kind of rolling. We're getting it as it rolls downhill. We're getting just the crumbs of this stuff and trying to make sense of it. But the fact is there's people at the top of this pyramid. Remember the pyramid structure. There's people at the top of the pyramid that absolutely know about this knowledge. I'm not the first person to figure this stuff out. It's definitely something that's been channeled through. It's just because I've been able to get to those trance states to connect with this stuff that I'm able to make sense of it. Okay. There's nothing special about the stuff itself. It's all just ancient knowledge that's sort of just rolling down this pyramid. Okay, I hope that really makes sense. You guys can start to grasp onto what the stuff that I'm talking about. Um, as a writer says, as a wood carver, I don't get me started on trees. That's all I'm gonna say about that out loud. um, I'm not gonna talk about trees. I'm leaving it alone. Yep. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the caduceus and how because Stephen mentioned that it represents the chakras and the tree of life. I mentioned that, yeah, it represents the seven chakras, which are actually connected to organs throughout the body. I cover this stuff in Semita Diorum. They actually represent the various organs, which are the most important things inside of your body that keep you alive. Okay, throughout your body and then up to your brain, etc. So they're very relevant, and they should be the things that you're focused on. If you have like, people think the chakras are just like a hypothetical, like esoterical thing. No, you could really think of it as the physical parts of your body. Like, okay, my nuts hurt. Okay, it's hurting down there. Obviously, this lower region is what's hurting, and and that's how you can understand your body is those seven associations, those seven areas. Pain usually happens in those specific type areas. This is the way our body works. You usually get pain in your throat, okay? And then the throat is connected to the chest, so you get chest and throat pain, okay? A headache usually has something to do with the sinuses, and et cetera, et cetera. This is all stuff that's connected down your body. It's realistic stuff, okay? So it's the way that they taught anatomy before they were cutting people open. So it leads you to think that maybe they could see inside the body. Maybe they could see these things in a way that we can't see them today. With the third eye being open back in those days, perhaps they could see inside the body and they knew what was there without having to, like I said, dissect someone open. But we knew the Egyptians did that too. They cut people open all the time and mummified them all the time. So they knew exactly what was in there. Okay? They knew exactly how the body worked, dude. There's no question about it. All of our science that we have nowadays comes from stuff that we did years ago. Gotta understand that. Okay, and then we have the interesting thing about the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life and all of that stuff is that's fantastic. But I hate how it's all stuck in again that right hand path, monotheistic type stuff. I just get away from all of that. I really I like to just get away from all of that. We need to do away with that. Okay, the truth is, we don't need that in order to understand it. You can adapt the tree of life and the understanding of the numerology and all that stuff to anything that suits you, whether it be the Klapoth, the tree of life, whatever. Okay, we can adapt it to anything. In fact, I'm going to do a similar adaptation of correspondences again in this new book that I'm writing. It's going to be something that I haven't seen come across the occult world before, but something that connects with me personally, and hopefully it'll connect with you. But it's I stay away from ideologies, but we're going to use that as a representation of something, and that's what the tree of life and the Kabbalah and all of that is. Okay, it's talking about planets, it's talking about areas in the body. It's all talking about the same stuff. To me, it really just makes it more fucking complicated. I think the tree of life confuses people. I don't think there's anyone out there that could just like sit down and have a conversation with someone else that's studying a thing and they both like, yeah, this is exactly it. It seems like they still having debates about it, just like people studying the Bible. It's like, oh, I understand it like this. Oh, I understand it like this, but the book says this. Like it's the same concept to me. So I kind of stay away from that. I keep it very, very straightforward and very simple. I mention it, the different areas of the body and stuff like that. But the truth is you don't have to get too caught up on that stuff because the subconscious controls that shit. The subconscious mind is automatic. It controls that energy flow. It controls the blinking, the breathing, the automatic tree of life flow, and all of that stuff in the body. It's already controlling all of that shit. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this live. Okay? So you're obviously already working to be alive and still function. You're working already. Okay? See, look, and there's Rhino admitting it. It can be hella confusing, especially in conversation. Yeah, because it is. It's confusing shit. And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be something that's confusing, and something that's confusing and like just takes you forever to understand, and you got to study it for 10,000 years. Fuck all that. Like, who's got time for that? You'll die before you figure out all the secrets of the Kabbalah. Um, in some Cathar grids, it can be used to explain dimension variances. Interesting, Stephen, but I don't even know what. We're not going to go into Cathar grids because I don't even know what the hell that word means. So I'll just leave it with that. Like I said, it's all really confusing stuff. I know what it is. I know about it. I know the concept of it, but I'm not going to go into all that weird language and stuff that just turns into mumbo jumbo. It's too fucking confusing. I'm sorry. I need to understand me, and I don't need some ancient language stuff to explain that. We're talking about the real human person, the real human body. Now, when you start to look at ancient cultures and stuff, you're forced into kind of trying to learn their language to relate it to what they're talking about. Okay, and you can run across that with the Egyptians. They call stuff like in my book, Samita Diorum, I use the Egyptian language to explain the nine bodies, like the Ka and the Ba and the Sahu and etc. But, if you were just stuck using that language, if I had only put the Egyptian in there, you'd have had to go back and research it, try to figure out what the fuck that means, and then blah, 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 blah. Then everybody's walking around talking about Sahu and having to explain the word to the next person, period. So the best thing you could do is just trying to use the language that you're familiar with all of this stuff. Okay, so if we're talking about the body with the tree of life and the shock the normal chakras, then we might as well just make it simple. Okay, we're talking about the third eye. We're talking about the pineal gland inside the head right here. So that's just the way it is. You got to break this stuff down and keep it simple. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. That's the thing I go by, man. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss, because like I said, you can drown in this information. It's just way too much. It's way too much information. Okay, you can drown in this stuff. So and that's the problem I have with it. It's not realistic at that point. It's like it goes out of the realm of being something that's realistic, practical to understand, and usable at that point. Okay, it's just a bunch of theory. And theory kind of goes out the door, like I said, when you come into the real world. Because it's not like you're going to be out there. Let's say you're out there in the real world, okay, and you're in a situation or a conflict with someone, okay, and we're talking about using magic because we're witches, right? You're going to summon up your understanding of the tree of life and this and that and this and that and the other to affect the situation that you're in. It absolutely does not work in that fashion. But everything that I teach can absolutely work in that fashion. You can understand how to change situations of conflict, change the way other people and yourself feel. It's real life stuff. Even if you're in a fight or something like that, man, you got to understand that people go right into trance with fights and stuff like that. You could learn this in a way where you won't have to beat somebody to death because you could beat them in a trance instead. Okay, and tell them not to move until the cops get there, and that's what they do because you know how to do it. Okay, it's a total different type of situation, with understanding what trance is and shock and all of that stuff. Okay, if you've ever seen somebody that really goes into a shock trance, I'm talking about like, oh my God, my finger's gone. Okay, and they go into a shock trance. You could tell them not to move, and that's all they'll do is sit there and not move. Okay, or whatever. They're in shock. People go. There's a such thing as shock trance. Okay, and it's a real thing. Trance is real. Okay, you got to understand that. And people are always, the mind is always waiting to go into the next trance. That's just the reality of this thing. The mind is always in some type of state, whether that's a wake state, a sleeping like state, or an in between state. It's always in some type of mental state, and it's just waiting for the next thing to influence it to change its state. Whether that's a song that makes you feel good, or a conversation you're about to have, or whatever. It's just waiting to change to the next state. Okay, so you can choose whatever that influence is consciously. It doesn't have to be something that just happens to you. You don't have to be a victim of it. And that's why I wrote my book, Mesmerism: The True Powers of the Witch. It is available. You guys should get a copy of that. You know, it's very down to earth. It's very, very real. It takes magic, like I said, out of the realm of being just us in the dark with fucking candles and skulls into being something that you can use in the real world and, you know, have that power to affect things. Let me scroll up, see some of these comments. Sorry I'm smoking in front of you if you guys are quit or whatever, but it's a free country. I have that. I can quit. You know, I've done it several times before. I mean, but I like smoking also because it helps me stay calm, especially with 4 kids. So, I mean, I smoke sometimes and sometimes I don't. Michael Candelario, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, Hurley. I've been away for a couple of nights. Fatherly duty and work. Trust me, buddy, I know all about that. I'm sure you know how it is. Yep, I do. Any suggestions as to which symbol / sigil I should tattoo on myself? Hey, buddy, I just got a fresh new Baphomet, which you can't see because I can't roll this shirt up high enough. My arms are too big. But I just got a fresh new Baphomet with the old, you know, psychic hand and all of that good stuff. So, can't go better than that. Plus, on this live, I just literally broke down the Baphomet, so perhaps that is a message directly to you. Cool. Sarah, I'm sorry. She said she picked up smoking thanks to this fucked year. Yeah, it be like that sometimes. Actually, Rhino says, "Wait, the world is real." Actually, dude, the world is subjective. Okay, I would say reality is subjective. It's not objective. People think it's objective, but it's not. I proved that in my book. I'm also, like I said, I'm willing to prove that on video. You know, when I teach people how to do this stuff. If you guys want to do the lessons and stuff through the Patreon, I'm gonna show you on video. I'm gonna go right out there and put people in trance and make their reality not exist. You know, even though there's a car right in front of them, I can tell them they can't see it. It's invisible, okay, and they will not be able to perceive it. It will be completely gone to them. They can walk right into the car. You could go stand on the car and they would think you were floating in the air because they cannot perceive the vehicle being there. Okay, so this is reality is absolutely subjective. It's something that you can alter. Okay, so that's the way it is. Michael Candelario, I see you. He says, "Dude, you keep doing that. Know what I'm gonna write? That is so freaky." Baphomet, good suggestion. You know, I told you about that, Michael. That I have that effect on people. That happens to me a lot in the real world. Is I say things that people are about to say, or whatever. I connect with people, and it's something that happens on a spiritual level. I don't know why. I read my mom's mind. I read everybody's mind all the time. My wife is sitting right here, and she'll tell you it's probably the most annoying thing in the fucking world because I do it all the time. Okay. I don't know if you heard that slow, deep, annoying breath, but that was her. Um, There's Rhino. He does that a lot. I'm sorry. It's the psychic connection, man. And I'm not saying that it doesn't make me special or anything. I mean, I guess it does, but everyone has psychic abilities. Okay, everyone has natural psychic abilities, and the ability to do this stuff, to connect in that type of way. It's just a matter of, like I said, getting into a deep enough trance and getting the correct messages to your subconscious mind. You have to say, "Hey, look, I want to connect to this. I want you to do that. Okay, I want you to do this," and specifically, that's what it's going to happen. Rhino says, "I'm 99.9% sure this is a simulation." It's not a simulation. It's not a simulation. This is a joint dream. Okay? as told by the Egyptians. The first hermetic principle is this: reality is mental. Reality is mental. All of it, all of reality, the complete totality of it, all of the universe is mental. Okay, so that means that the mind is creating everything. We are in a experience of the universal one mind dream. We're having a multi one dream. That is what reality is, according to the Hermetic principles. So that's why you can alter it. That's why you can change it. That's why all kinds of things can exist, is because we are in the realm of the dream, of the universal one dream. Okay. Um, so I specifically live my life and understand everything that I teach, everything that I write about. My complete understanding is based on the Hermetic principles. It is absolutely based on that. Okay, I'll tell you that straight from the start. It is absolutely. Asen says, "Is there a practice for mind reading?" I'm gonna say yes and no to that. Yes, because you can practice going into deeper trances and connecting with various energies and stuff like that. The mind reading is something that just sort of happens when you connect with people. If you are naturally empathic, then you'll naturally be more inclined to become a mind reader. Not everyone has the same talents and abilities. Some people are, for instance, visual learners. So they see shit. Okay, some people are auditory learners, so they hear things, hear voices, and things like that. It depends on you. Some people are all hands on, and so they feel shit touching them. They feel spider webs or something like that, or the wind picking up. It depends on you. What skills you develop. Okay, everyone's different. So with me, I'm an Aries. Okay, so being an Aries, and big headed and the Ram, everything's mental with Aries, dude. We have to be in control of everything. So I am super duper left analytically brained. So I had to like purposefully and go out and try to tap into my imaginative mind and let myself be open to this stuff because I was like to the point where I was about to be atheist. I was like, okay, ain't no fucking God. This bitch ain't answering. I'm praying like a motherfucker. This shit ain't working. Okay, and I work with the devil shit. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to summon demons. They ain't fucking showing up. I'm not having any success with this bullshit. Okay, and then I was like, okay, well, what's the deal? Why am I not fucking seeing demons? I've done evocation after evocation. This is some fucking bullshit. And then I ran into the study of hypnosis and stuff like that. Learned about trance, learned about the different phenomena that you could produce with trance, figured out why I wasn't having success, and I connected those dots, okay? And now I'm in a situation where I'm teaching other people the stuff that I've learned, and sort of bringing it into a real life perspective for them. Because this is the stuff that, like I said, that they're hiding from you. If you ever saw the movie They Live, it talks about like these aliens that are here on Earth and are in control of everything. And like you put these special sunglasses on and you can see what's going on. It's like all the billboards say shit like sleep and marry and reproduce and consume, and they're just fucking controlling every asset of what people do. There's really no freedom at all, and it's a very powerful movie because it's that same sort of thing, like where when you put the glasses on, you can see, you know. And yeah, They Live was a fucking documentary, dude. It talks about interdimensional stuff that exists that you can only see when you put the glasses on that are sort of running everything. And mesmerism is hypnotism is how they are doing exactly this shit. It's super duper deep. You turn the TV on after you read my book. I'm telling you, you turn the fucking TV on and you get mad because you start hearing the language patterns and stuff like that I teach in my book and in commercials and in movies and fucking in songs and stuff like that. You start seeing the repetition and stuff that I talk about that makes you go into trance. And it pisses you off, and this is how they program people. That's why people get stuck on the I gotta be a gangster rap type thing, or I gotta be this kind of way, or I gotta be that kind of way, and they have no true individuality is because people are subjective. Unfortunately, we all suggestible as people. That is the human situation. Since we are mind, since reality is mental, everything is suggestible, including reality. Okay, so that's how you can have magic because reality itself is suggestible. Okay, so that's super duper deep. Um, Asa says the fight scene in that movie killed me. Yeah, the fight scene was representative of the two minds fighting each other. And this is a process everybody has to go through. But that analytical mind is like, I beat your ass. You know this ain't fucking real. And then that creative mind's kicked in like, bitch, this is real. Okay. And so you're having that battle of spiritual shit don't make sense. And then analytical shit, I can't live with it. You know, that was the battle in that movie when those guys are beating each other's asses. Steven, that movie was so hard hitting that it pulled out of the theaters quickly. Yeah, dude, they shut that movie down so fast. Oh, speaking of that movie and the glasses, I will be having the aura glasses coming, guys. The glasses. They're gonna let you see. They're gonna let you see auras. They're gonna let you see energy. Energy is directly involved with the light spectrum of what your eyes can see. The aura glasses are going to specifically cut out all the shades of light and only allow you to use the one that's needed for you to be able to see the life force energy, the aura around people, and stuff like that. Okay, so it's very, very powerful. You can use it to see ghosts and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. It's not something I invented. They've been around a very long time. I think they became like super duper popular in the '60s during the flower child age, and then they of course died off like a lot of stuff did, including like having seances with your neighbors being a normal thing. So yeah, but I am going to be offering those, and I'll be having them going up in a group pretty soon here within the next week or so. Um, Rhino says I got to be a cowboy. I live in Texas on a ranch. How could I listen to death metal? Hey man, because you're awesome. That's why. The only awesome people listen to death metal. You got to understand this stuff, okay? So with that said, you know, with that said, rock and roll, baby. Let's do this. Um, I'm probably the most metal person in the world. You just got to understand this. I worked at Guitar Center. I met bands. I went to more Ozfest than I care to count. You know, I shook hands with Lamb of God, and then they didn't sign my shit. We've been there. We've done that. I've met Cradle of Filth. We've done this. Okay. I've got photos to prove it. Um, so yeah. Anyway, with that said, how long have I been on? Let's see, about 40 minutes, guys. I'm gonna open up for some questions and give you guys a chance to ask some questions. Whatever you guys want to talk about, just shoot that shit in there, okay? And I will try to answer it to the best of my ability. All right. Um, I have some memorabilia. Sarah says, "I bet you have a lot of great memorabilia." Actually, Sarah, I'll be honest. I'll tell you what happened with the memorabilia. I have some stuff, but shit gets old. Like shit gets old. My memorabilia is like stuff from the '90s. It was like T-shirts and hoodies, and I wore them bitches. Like I think I still have a sevenfold T-shirt from like um oh my god, like City of Evil, Waking the Fallen tour, some shit like that, and it's got holes in it, and I'm like, I can't throw this away, but I want to throw this away. So I like throw a lot of shit away. I got photos and stuff like that, but memorabilia, nah. Plus, man, I wasn't rich, so it was like, you know how much that shit is. They'd be like, oh yeah, would you like a hoodie? That'll be $60. I'm like, oh man, that's more than my fucking ticket. Like I can't afford that. Come on. Um, Michael Candelario, seance shit. I mean, dude, I actually want to bring that back so bad. I want to bring back the like spiritual age of people just hanging out and trying to talk to ghosts and hosting seances and like real magic being in the world. I like wish we could bring that age back. I wish that's the age I could have existed in, because man, would that have been great. Except for the fact that I think like black people were not treated very well back then. So maybe like a Michael Jackson skin change and then the time travel. A said, working on that mesmerism language, very powerful. Yeah, dude, that book, I told you, mesmerism, and my camera's sitting on it right now. Let me show it. Weep, weep. Mesmerism, the true powers of the witch. uh, dude, the book is powerful. It's one of those things where, like I said, there's so much information in that fucking. I think it's just a little over 200 pages, but there's so much information in there that you have to reread that bitch over and over again. Okay, the language patterns are something that where you're gonna get ones that you like. Okay, and you're gonna use those. Those are gonna be your ones. Okay, and they're so good that, like I said, when I reread it and stuff, it makes me laugh out loud, and I know what's in there. Okay, because it's that shit is that powerful. It really is something that is a real life skill. Okay, what is rich? What is rich? I don't know. I missed it. Why is everybody talking about what is rich? To shallow people. uh, I'm just saying. You know, Sarah, I don't. I'm missing it. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Let me jump back in. Here's Sarah with a new comment. Do you have a lot of other books that you have that you haven't written yourself? Yeah, I've got a huge library of books. I talked about this before, actually, Sarah. Um, at one point in my life, and we're talking about like when I was a teenager and shit, everything I owned was pretty much books, dude. I'm talking about occult books. Everything I owned was like books. Like you'd come over and like I had my apartment was like books and shit sitting on the books, like the TV and stuff was sitting on books. Okay. I got tired of lugging around so many fucking books, and then when we got computers and all of that shit and the internet, I converted stuff over to PDFs. So now I actually have thousands of books on PDF, and then I have just like certain books that I keep prints of because they're that close to me. And then there's some books that I'll buy just because I love the author and they have that connection from when I, first started learning stuff. So I have like, a couple Michael Ford books. I got some stuff like Constantino's. I got like Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft. The book on spirit communication, some stuff on energy, chi, chakras, Bruce Lee's entire collection of books. I've got books still, but most of them are on PDF at this point because I was like a super duper nerd. Okay. Um, and the funny thing is, she says, "Nice, can we borrow from you like a library?" LOL, just kidding. I know you're just kidding, but actually, I had started doing that at one point, and I was like just putting books online, and I didn't want to, copyright infringe on anybody, especially since I'm an author and I'm friends with other authors, including Michael Ford and Constantino, some of the guys I mentioned. So I would never want to, copyright infringe and just, do that. If you guys should support authors, I'm an author. You guys shouldn't be stealing shit. You should be supporting the people that you're willing to learn from. And so, with that said, I just bought the new Baphomet statue from Luciferian Apothecary, which is Michael Ford's occult shop. So I support the people that I love, and that's just the only way that it should be. You got to be that way. Everybody needs money to survive, and so we should be supporting each other. Okay. Um, what are some books that you suggest that you stay away from? I would say this: all knowledge is good knowledge. All knowledge is good knowledge. There's no such thing as a book you should stay away from because you could learn from that book what you don't want yourself to be like. What you could always learn from negative stuff also. So I wouldn't say that there's a book that you should necessarily stay away from. I mean, just avoid a lot of the stuff that wraps you up in ideologies. If they're telling you like cut yourself in the dark to fucking worship Satan or something crazy like or go out there and kill kids or some stupid shit like that, you obviously don't want to do that. And just stay away from a lot of the stuff that involves you believing in shit. If it's a lot of just believe in this, or deep breathing in the dark, or just light candles and say a poem, that's like Wicca nowadays. That's the whole right hand path Wicca movement now. The light workers are like lighting candles and just saying some shit that rhymes and just hoping for the best. I'm like, that is Christianity. Okay, that is exactly Christianity. There's no different. Like Catholics burn candle, say the prayer, wish for the best. What's the fucking difference? You know, that's exactly the same thing. So avoid that mindset, but in the dark, which is another thing that's happening with a lot of occult teachers, is they're taking that Wicca-like mindset, that Christian-like mindset, and they're going, okay, now let's do the same thing, but with demons. Okay, and avoid that. That's just a lot of mumbo jumbo nonsense. Um, I'm here to change that. I'll be the person to tell you that that's some bullshit. You know, a lot of those people that talk about that stuff, they might be doing it themselves, but they're also blinded. Okay, just because they're doing it, that don't be monkey see monkey do. If they go jump off the fucking bridge, don't go jump off the fucking bridge too. You know, like come on now. EA co-wedding. Cut yourself to evoke the spirit. He requires blood. We're not going to talk about EA co-wedding. I have Kingdom of Flames tattoo on my arm. So I'm not going to talk negative about the man because there was a point where I absolutely was reading his work. And I'm not talking about recently with this become a living God fad that people are going through. I'm talking about I had Coedding's books back in the 90s, okay, when I knew he was, you know, going through some struggles in life, we'll say. And, you know, I was following his work because I knew it was an occult book that came out. I think I actually found out about him through Michael, if I'm not mistaken, through Michael Ford or somebody like that. But anyway, this is way before he had become a living God and like written all these different books and whatnot. But I mean, I know about his work, you know, and like I said, I worked Kingdom Flames and in my own sort of way, and I followed some of the stuff that was in the book, but it's not the end all be all, understand all of magic period at all. I don't do any of it now. Kingdom of Flames is a complete work of fiction, and he admits it. You know that it's a work of fiction and stuff like that. There's no way any of the I mean the real Voodoo traditions. You have to understand that they're super duper racist. Okay, those are racist ass black people. They don't like white people. They are the same way they've been. Their ancestors, they all that shit. They connect with it so strong that they're still racist, even though racism is retarded. So there's no way anybody would ever taught him anything about a fucking voodoo genuine tradition. Okay, it just would have never happened. So I mean, let's be realistic here. I mean, anybody can write a book about something if you do enough research. Okay, but it doesn't make that stuff realistic or practical at all. Okay, it's just again along the lines of just believing in stuff. And so I'm not saying anything negative about the man because we're all authors and stuff like that. If you want to have some type of ideology or system or backstory to grasp onto, you can absolutely use any grimoire. You can grab any grimoire, okay? But make sure that you um, connect with it on a spiritual level. That it's something that connects with you, and that it's realistic. That's the best advice I can offer. Okay, that's the best advice I can offer on that. Okay, as far as authors and books and what you should avoid and stuff like that. Another thing is avoid that fucking Joy of Satan site, dude. Like that. Oh my god, Nazis. They like Nazis, segregation, and Nazis. We're done. We're not even going any further than that. Okay. If you want to learn about demons, read the fucking Goetia. Okay, but don't get caught up in the God control and command stuff because, like again, I mentioned the origins of demons in the last live. The truth is a lot of that Goetia stuff comes from the idea of the Abrahamic religions, where they felt like demons were something that you could conjure and control because they were under God's power. So again, that's some bullshit. The truth is demons are the ancient gods. This is something that has been around humanity since our origins, since before Abrahamic religions and all of that stuff ever existed. Okay. And it's funny, me and Steven were just talking about this in Messenger too earlier. I was talking about how, in my view of the world, there's only two types of people. There's monotheistic people, and then there's left-hand path people. Because the left-hand path includes the totality of everyone's individual belief. They can call themselves Wiccans. They can call themselves whatever they want. You guys can say you're Norse, whatever it is. I know everyone has their ancestral traditions. I know some people are finna get pissed off, but just hear me out, okay? There's only two paths: monotheistic beliefs and the left-hand path. And I didn't make it this way. They made it this way, okay? But the fact is the left-hand path is about individuality. So you can claim all of those titles and be all of those things, but you're still on the left-hand path, okay? If you have polytheistic beliefs, you are under the left hand path because it doesn't matter what idols you choose. Okay? It doesn't matter what idols you choose. It doesn't matter if you want to be a light bringer or the dark bringer or the whatever. It doesn't matter what idols you choose. It's totally about individuality. Okay? So you're still on the left hand path. Um, um, Rhino, at this point, dude, I don't know if I need a. I'm reading what Rhino said about starting a podcast. He's been on my ass, and he has been on my ass about starting a podcast. But I feel like the podcast scene is out. I feel like we've got Facebook now. If they ever figure out the Facebook rooms, dude, we could all just talk to each other live on video at this point. You all could turn your cameras on, turn your mics on, and we could sit up all night and fucking talk magic if we wanted to, without a podcast medium. Okay, the only thing about that is, I think it's limited to how many people we can have in there. Okay, and that's the same thing with Zoom. I was doing the Zooms for a while. That's kind of died down, but I was doing the Zooms for a while just to be able to see people because that's so powerful. It's like being in a room with somebody almost. But I feel like the podcast scene is kind of dead. And like I said, I like to be able to talk to people. So I would rather do something like a voice chat. If we're gonna do something, it'll just be a voice chat, like old school fucking phone chat. We can all just dial in and talk to each other or something like that. I think would be way more powerful than a podcast or something like that. Now I could be wrong. I don't know what style of podcasts are out there if they allow for that type of stuff, but you know, um, I kind of just figured this was the simplest route for me. This is what I understood was the Facebook and whatnot. So this is what I went with. I've been putting stuff on YouTube, and so that's the mediums I'm using at this point. And then now I got the Patreon. Okay. Um, but that's the way I'm doing it. I'm looking at the comments again. Hang on. Um, and then Michael, hey, seriously, you need to start a podcast. You guys are really pushing for the podcast, huh? And I understand why you guys are saying that because you feel like you can, watch or listen to the live videos and stuff while you're at work and stuff like that. I get it. So, with that in mind, perhaps I could make the videos available by extracting the audio out of them. Okay, and then sort of just posting these live videos onto a podcast, maybe something like that. But I'm not going to do a separate sit down and talk to everybody for an hour podcast. That just seems kind of crazy to me. I mean, I'm already doing this, and I feel like this is more than informative enough to lead to understanding. So I don't feel like I need to do two or three things. Oh, look, check it out. Rhino says that he figured out he's not out of practice and put out a candle from 8 feet away last night. Yeah, that's pretty awesome, dude. That's pretty badass. But yeah, so with that said, guys, I have been on for almost an hour. I'm gonna open up for just a couple more questions, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Couple more questions here, guys, and then I'm gonna put the babies to bed or wind down or whatever I'm gonna do for the night. Okay. So shoot them in if you got them. Shoot them if you got them. With that said, I highly recommend my book, Mesmerism, the True Powers of the Witch. I've recommended it before. I'm going to recommend it again. Maybe I'll even put a link in this video instead of a link to the Patreon. But you should get that fucking book. All right? And if you're into the ritual magic stuff, check out Samita Diora. But you don't need ritual magic to practice magic. Okay? So both books have their own standing point. Um, Rhino, I was heavy for a podcast, but I am kind of converted This way you can reply in real time. See? See? That's the whole thing, man, is I like to be able to reply in real time, talk to people, let you see who I am, connect with me live, ask questions, all of that type of stuff, okay? You see who I really am. It's not a pre-recorded video. You know, a lot of people do think that YouTube is like the coolest thing ever, but YouTube is all pre-recorded. Okay, you can go live on there, but even if you go live on YouTube, you still got to reshare. It's all pre-recorded stuff you come across. This is live, you know. This is all this shit's live. I play with fire and put it right in my mouth live, and then talk to you guys. You know, so you know I haven't burned all my fucking teeth out. I'm not a fake. You know, I'm doing it live. All right. So with that said, much love, guys. Much love. Grab a copy of my books, those of you that are following along. Until next time, I will see you in the next one.